Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with Tricia Fiske.
Hello. Hi,
Hey.
everybody.
Hi, everyone. And today we're going to talk about awakening to your creative power to create abundance. And we've been doing a little bit of awakening around money, and we've talked about awakening to the abundance around us, which we're going to talk about today. But specifically today, we're going to dive a little bit more into that you as a power investor can invest in your joys and in your desires and the things that really bring you fill your heart. And then, of course, those are different for each of us, but let's really awaken and start to remember that, we came to Earth here to experience abundance and joy and play and fun. And this is our opportunity to really make and allow ourselves to have those experiences. So we're going to explore that in more detail today. Trish, how would you want to frame today?
Well, I'm going to go back to Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Meese, the chakras. And this relates to the fifth chakra, which is faith, self knowledge, and personal authority. The capacity, and this is a direct quote from her book, to make decisions, knowing that no matter what decision we make, we can keep our word to ourselves or to another person. So it's the will now to really put our faith, our action, our words, our creativity into creating this abundance, or co-creating, I should say.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's interesting because, especially for yogis, I think sometimes we think, do we have permission to really allow ourselves to experience our lives, in an abundant way? And it's interesting because some of the research or not, some of the things that have been popping in for me lately, I've been noticing there's a lot around this word permission, give myself permission to allow the gloriousness of our lives. And I would listen to one teacher and he talks about permission slips that, we use these tools as permission slips. Like somehow in the back of our minds, we need permission to create our lives our way. And to allow our creativity to inspire, to be inspired. And I think that really what we're here about is to create our lives. That's kind of it. And I've even, in my book, I talk about it's like it's not about learning lessons. It's kind of about, and you could call it learning how to create your life in the most glorious way that you can be in, imagine. And that comes from inspiration and allowing ourselves to experience inspiration. And that's that will, that fifth chakra, you can feel it boil or bubble from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it comes out. So yes, that personal authority to have the will in our lives to experience and allow ourselves this creative abundance.
Right. So at this point, we've moved past that stage of, do I deserve it? Am I worthy? And we're into, okay, now I'm actually ready to dive in and start this act of creation.
Right, right. And be the captain of my ship, be at the
Right.
helm. And I think it's really important for people to become awake to that power that they have. And I think because one of the things I was thinking about is how come people don't allow it? And I think it's because I don't know if they don't, like you said, they don't deserve it, but I don't think they realize the power we have as creators, as divine beings, that's part of our endowment on earth is that we get to, bippity boppity boop and wave our magic finger and our magic words and create magic. That's a divine gift.
I don't think people are aware of that either, especially that we're creating all the time. And if we are either creating consciously or unconsciously, but
Right.
we're creating all the time. Right. And yeah, I can say from talking to people about this stuff that many don't realize that they're creating their reality in their life, and that have the ability to change it. You
Right.
have the ability. Yeah.
And we talked about, letting go of history, because we are kind of formatted, let's say, when we're young, and it gives us an energetic countenance, so to speak. And that those are all things we've learned. But as we're in the year of abundance and we're in the year of the dragon, which I love, with the fire, and in the expanding into our personal authority, like you said, to experience our inspirations. I keep using that word inspiration, but it's also our desires, are the things that just go, oh, that would be fun, following those, because
Mm.
that's our internal guidance. And and I don't think we realize how the earth has been created for our fulfillment of our desires, because energy is like clay, right? We can mold it into anything we want with our words, with our feelings, with our thoughts, with how we interact with the world. Um, and sometimes I don't think we realize just how powerful a creator we are, and that everything is set up for us to experience our creations.
Yes. And so I took an online course about rewriting your story.
Mm,
It was really fun. And, we went back and kind of looked at books that influenced us, movies that influenced us, stories we told ourselves, stuff like that. But the the leader of this group, near the end, one of the things we did that was so much fun was, okay, write a couple paragraphs on what you want your story to be. And then she had us do it two more times, imagining two totally different stories. So, three possible outcomes that were all positive, but very different. And I thought to myself, this is so much fun. I don't allow myself to do this very often.
no,
Three possible positive
right.
outcomes. And they
Yeah.
were all like, oh God, I really like this one. Oh no, I really like
Right,
this
right, right,
one.
right,
It was
right.
right. It was just so fun to even consider that.
Yes.
I have
Brilliant.
multiple choices, right? I don't just
Yeah.
have one choice. I have
No,
multiple
right.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I used to run an innovation center at Bell Labs, and that was we part of the innovation was to brainstorm, right? And so, you would because people always come in with one predefined, this is what we should do. And part of
Right.
our, um, responsibility was help them think outside the box and look at multiple and come up with a lot of different ideas. And it was really about expanding and thinking differently. And when you were saying that, I was thinking, boy, how would Taylor Swift write that story? How would Beyonce write that story? And that was one of the things we used to do, is you'd take on a different personality and have them write that story, because we get so inside the box and inside of what's possible for ourselves. And the divinity, it's unlimited options, unlimited perspectives, and anything's possible, and thank you for saying that story, because it's so true. And part of and I think when we get into this, well, I'm supposed to create, right? If I'm a good creator, I know what I want, I know how to go about doing it. And I think we got to let those ideas go, because those are limiting. It's the
Yes.
inspiration is there, but how it unfolds, let that be a magic.
Right. Right. Because we get in our to-do list. And the minute one of our to-dos doesn't happen, we scrap the whole project. Oh, it's not
Right.
work because this didn't work this way. So, right. That's the emphasis is, um, let it unfold. Let it unfold, and trust and have faith that you are leading, you're driving it. but leave the details, because that's where we get screwed up and we get small and we get caught and we
Right.
start to get fearful. Yeah.
Because our mind
Yeah.
is like, well, if I was a good creator, I'd get that. And,
Right.
we're co-creating. And this is, I do feel like we are co-creating in that, we get inspiration from that higher perspective of ourselves. And then, we're the hands and, the hands on earth that get to that are implementing. So we're trying to interpret, okay, well, I'll head that way. Oh, and I kind of go back to this whole thing that we talked about last week with this inspiration about get that space at that painted tree. I'm like, it's still empty, but I'm really trying to follow the inspiration. And the inspiration was, well, just figure out how to do their inventory system. So, okay, I did that, but it's, and maybe that doesn't feel like inspiration, but sometimes it is a specific thing. Just do this, just take this little bite, take this little step, take this little step.
Right.
You can't write a book in one day. Well, some people might, but you need to outline it, or you need to figure out the chapter, or you need to, we talked about this before, but unfoldment. And,
Right.
and
Right.
how would it be if you just said, oh, I'm headed somewhere magical or wonderful, and I'm going to let it unfold and be just
And
surprised and delighted the whole way.
right. Right. And because that's when more opportunities can come and present themselves to you, which and then comes back to choice. Then you start making these choices about, I want to experience that. No, I want to experience that. I want to experience that. Or maybe you want to experience all of them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it
But
is
just don't get
that.
so scared by choices to find the right one. It's not
Oh,
about the
right.
right one that's going to get you
No.
to the right end. It's about finding the one that feels juicy and joyful and maybe a little sexy, or maybe a little cheaty, or maybe, whatever it is that makes you feel like, oh, alive. I think it's the aliving choice. And sometimes the aliving choice isn't the one society would say is the right choice, because it's
Well,
not going to make money, or it's not going to give you, status, or you're not going to be Instagram famous, or whatever rules people have now.
oh yeah, you got to totally let go of that one. Totally let go of that one. Um, I read something about one of the ways to stop worrying about what people think is to have, if you have a little altar at home, put a little thing on it that represents the opinions of other people, and every morning ask it, okay, what about today? Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I pretty enough?
Right.
And he says, like, eventually you're just going to get so sick of it that you'll quit doing it and say, I don't care what you think. Right. It's
Right.
funny. It's
Right.
right. It's funny.
I think, to be honest, one of the great gifts of getting older is, what the hell? If not now, then when? I mean,
Right.
and that's the gift I would give my younger self. If not now, then when? If not now, and that whole worrying about all those, we used to have at Ideaverse, we used to have this painting on the wall, and it was it was an ogre, and it's that internal voice that's like, rawr, you're not good enough, rawr, it's the creative killer inside of you that shuts down all the things that would be juicy and joyful, because our minds just grab it and throw it to the ground. And like you were saying one week, you said, and that's kind of like why I'm going to even do it. Just because, that thing says you can't. How about I bet you can, kind of thing.
Right. Well, and I'm going to share my story about teaching too, that I shared with you earlier. So I, I'm a yoga instructor, and I used to teach a lot of classes during the week. I taught at a community college, and at yoga studios. And um, after COVID, when a lot of stuff shut down for a while, a lot of studios shut down for a while, and even all the classes at the community college were no longer live. Um, I decided to, oh, I'm getting older. It's time for me to not teach so much. Anyway, I subbed at a studio this last week and realized I miss it. It's fun. I
Mm-hmm.
actually like doing that. It isn't a chore. Um, and I miss being in the room with the people, and yeah. So I'm gonna start doing it more. It's not
Right.
behind me. Right. It's
No,
not
right,
behind me, and I'm not too old to do it. And
right.
yeah.
Well, and I do think some things, because it's funny you mentioned it, because I was saying the same thing to Mark this morning about, you know, I really love writing books, but then I took a break. But now I'm kind of getting re-inspired again. And I really love doing art, but now I'm kind of bored of it. So things do ebb and flow. And unfortunately, I'm
Right.
getting bored of art just when I need to create a lot of art. I need to probably look into that. But I do think this is the unfoldment process too with our creative urges. And then one of the things Julia Cameron says in her book, The Artist Way, which is a fabulous book, and it's probably 30 years old now, but that whole thing of understanding your creative process, and people think, oh, well, I'm not an artist, so I don't have a creative process, but absolutely you do. We are
Yeah.
here as creators. You have a creative process. It's unique to you, and things inspire you differently. I know, like sometimes I have to work out, I have to blow some energy out before I can create with some kind of presence, so learning about how you like to create and where you like to create and under what circumstances, but also understanding that you are unique and you get to create your life. That's why this is so important, right? And that's why the
Yes.
fifth chakra is so important is, you got to know yourself and feel that empowerment, that will, that um capability that is within. And it's
Right.
okay.
And I'm also one of those people who always said, because I don't draw or paint, I'm not artistic.
And I'm not a
And
creator,
I'm not a creator,
I'm
right?
not
And I'm not
creative.
highly visual, but words, words are my thing. And I can be very creative with words when I get out of my own way and
Mm,
and
mm,
and just let them come. So yes, we are all creative in our own unique way. And again, it's when we think we need to do something in a particular way or a particular order, or like somebody else did it, that's when we get in our own way.
right. And that's when I keep coming back to the magic. This is how we live a magical life because our souls are so able to just play and they want to play with the clay. That's why we came here into on the earth plane, because it's got a unique ability to take energy with thought and word and feeling and put it in action, of course, with choice and
Right.
and mold our lives in our unique way. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of cool about social media or whatever, or Instagram or whatever, is everybody's trying to be their own unique thing, only they're trying to be it in a way that's not all that unique. It's like, look at
You're
how
right.
important I am. And it's like, yeah, no, because now you're letting, the peanut gallery, let's say, have more say, with a like or whatever. So be
Right.
very careful of that. So don't let that, it can inspire you, but it can also all of a sudden squish you into a box. And our souls don't care about boxes at all. And they don't care about
No.
making mistakes. It's about aliving. If I were to pick a word, creating and aliving. And whatever permission we have to give ourselves to be the creative authority in our lives, we need to do it.
Yes.
And that's where I think the fifth chakra is just so important. Well, the whole chakra system, waking up the first, letting it move into the second, all the energy. That's why yoga is so beautiful because it's not just we have talked before, it's not just an exercise system, it's about energy moving. Ooh,
Right. Right.
all
It
of the
is energy.
flow.
Right. Energy movement, building your energy, directing it a particular way. Right.
Right. This is why
That's
we do
yoga.
yoga, to be a powerful creator in the world, to see our
Right. Right.
abundance flow through us. It's a very important capability.
Right. And yoga gives us particular techniques to do that. So, it's like maybe you like to sit and meditate. Maybe you like to sit and do breath work or focus on your breath work, or maybe you like to do the physical postures. But there's a technique for again what suits and supports each individual. And if you if you find yourself a good teacher, you'll learn what those things are.
Right. And then you learn what you like in it, in the process. Because when you were saying that, I was like, oh, I know once I do like a yoga practice, I'm ready to write. I am ready to flow, wisdom through me onto, into a book or whatever, or a blog post. But yeah, that alignment that comes from, doing the poses and then doing some meditation and some breath work, pranayama. Wow, it changes the whole ability to flow a creative process, whatever your creative process.
Right.
So part of what I think we've covered so much stuff here. How would you summarize what we've covered?
That at this step, what we're talking about is knowing that you want abundance in your life, and actually stepping into that. Like you stopped trying to decide again, am I worthy? Is it okay? Can I do this? And it's now I will do this. That's the will to do it.
And
I
I
will
am
do it
doing it.
now.
Yes,
Right.
I will do it. I am doing it. I am here, therefore I'm creating. I am here, and therefore I'm creating abundance. And I am here, and I am willing. I give myself permission to be the power creator of my life. And while I'm following inspiration, I'm not worrying about the outcome.
Right.
I'm not going to get stuck in the box. I'm going to really let go and let God, which was another piece of that reading from Carolyn Miss that we didn't talk about, but the let go and let our wisdom from, the higher place flow through us. And then we go with that.
Right.
That is one of the most beautiful things. When I was writing, I felt that, oh, I didn't realize I have this much creative authority. And when I do it aligned with my highest and best, most amazing, I don't care about the outcome. I just care about the experience of being
Right.
in the moment, in the presence with whatever it is, whether it's with people and we're at work or when we're doing this together, it's a delight. And if people listen to this, that would be bonus, but just being like this with you is wonderful enough. Wonderful. Not, beyond wonderful. So this is what I wish for people, is that they get to be in their most creative, abundant place and just be amazed and delighted at what flows from that.
Go for it. Jump in.
Jump in, right? Have a wonderful week, everyone, and
Thank
enjoy
you.
your creative power. Namaste.
Yes. Namaste.